Okay, so we're continuing the story about the runaway otter. The zookeepers know where the otter is, right? A man called them on his phone. He said, "There's an otter near my house." So what will the zookeepers do? We have this chapter, the tasty food. What will happen? The zookeepers got many phone calls after that. They got text messages and photos too. The runaway otter was alive and well. So it wasn't just one man who called them. They got many phone calls. Many people saw the otter. They were calling the zookeepers. They also took pictures of the otter. The otter looked fine. He was alive, or she was alive and well. Well, they found out that the otter was near these houses. That's where all the phone calls were coming from. So the zookeepers went across town. They went to those houses. They put out some tasty food for the otter. Tasty food. Tasty means it tastes good. It tastes good. If you eat some food, it tastes good. What tastes good? Well, chicken tastes good, right? Strawberries, 딸기 tastes good. 맛있어요. It tastes good. 맛있어요. It tastes good. Tasty means delicious. Delicious food. They put out some delicious food, some tasty food for the otter. They waited for the otter to come for the food. So you can see what they did here. Here are the zookeepers, the two zookeepers. We remember them. We saw their pictures before. They put out some tasty food. This is fish, right? Now, it's not cooked, so we might think, that's not tasty, but that's for us, right? The otter likes fish. For the otter, it's very tasty food. So you see the otter can smell the fish. She looks very happy. She's going to go get the food. But where is the food? The food is in a box. And when the otter gets the food, the box will close and they will have the otter. They'll catch the otter that way. So this is kind of like what we call a trap. It's a trap for the otter. They're going to catch the otter by using a trap. Okay? What happens next? The rescue. The runaway otter was hungry. She could smell the food, right? She could smell the food. At last. At last means finally. Oh, long time, right? After a long time. At last, the runaway otter came out of her hiding place. She was hiding somewhere. She came out of her hiding place. If you play hide and seek with your friends or your brothers and sisters, right? One person counts, the other people go and hide, right? If you have a good hiding place, no one can find you. The otter had a good hiding place. Nobody could find her, but they got her to come out of the hiding place with the food, the tasty food. So she came out of her hiding place. She began to eat the food. The zookeepers clapped and cheered. Yay, because the otter was caught in the box, right? They clapped and cheered. Clapped this way, yay, and cheered, yay, hooray. They cheered because it took a long time. They finally got the last otter. It's time to go home, little otter, they said, right? They're very happy. Here's the otter in the box. They've got the otter in the box now. Now they can bring her home to her home in the zoo. Whew. Good story. Good ending of the story. So, we have our glossary here of our important words. Keeper. Remember, keeper was part of a larger word that we saw. Zookeeper. But you can also just say keeper by itself, a keeper. A keeper is a person who looks after an animal. A keeper. So it doesn't have to be at a zoo. It could be at a training place for animals, a keeper, a dog keeper, right? A cat keeper, right? It could be, there's many different kinds of keepers. Of course, a zookeeper works at a zoo. Remember the word mischief? Remember I taught you another word that is the same as mischief? Do you remember that word? It's trouble. Mischief, playful behavior that might lead to trouble, But mischief is playful. And of course we know this. When we're playing and we're having fun, we don't think about it, but it could lead to trouble. So be careful when you're playing, right? Don't get into mischief. Don't get into trouble. Think about what you're doing. Make sure nobody gets hurt or nothing gets hurt. Okay. A report. A report is a description of something that has happened. A description of something that has happened. The zookeepers put a report on the internet. Also, they talked to the police. They talked to the TV news people. The police would take a report. The TV news people made a report. And they also put a report on the internet. Okay, that's a report. And remember sniffer dog? Sniffer dog is a dog that is trained to follow a scent, to follow a smell. Scent means smell. And find something that people are looking for. Remember, the zookeepers were using a sniffer dog to try to find the otter. The dog was trained to smell for the otter. The dog knew what the otter smelled like, and the dog was trying to find where did the otter go. But remember, the otter swam across the sea and across the harbor. The dogs can't smell in water, so the dog couldn't find the otter. Now here we have something special. This is a note from the author. The author is the person who wrote this book. And the author wants to give us some personal message, wants to tell us something interesting. So we have a note from the author. The note is, this tale is based on a true story. Based on a true story. That means it really happened. Something like this really happened. A little river otter did run away from the zoo near where I live. Oh, so that's interesting. The author lives in a place near the sea, near a zoo, and it actually happened. It did happen. When people use this verb do, they use it to emphasize something really did happen. 진짜 했어요. 진짜, right? It happened. It's not a story. So we can use do to make that known. You don't need do, right? A little river otter ran away from the zoo. You could say that. A little otter ran away from the zoo. But if you say a little otter did run away from the zoo, that's emphasis. That says it really happened. It's true, right? So if you say, I went to school, I don't believe you. I did go to school, right? That's emphasis. So when people use did with another verb, they're making sure. They want to show that it's true. It really happened. Okay, that's what happens here. A little river otter did run away from the zoo near where I live. She had many adventures before she was taken back to her safe home at the zoo. So that's a cool note, right? That's kind of interesting. 재밌어요. That this story really did happen, right? The author read about it on the news, right? It happened in her city, and she thought, well, I'll write a story about it. And that's why we have this book. Very interesting. So many stories, of course, are taken from true life. They really did happen. Okay? Okay, well, we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.